20 days. Only 20 days to the election. As it becomes feast or famine, it's not Thanksgiving, but literally everyone's pulling out a plate because everyone's going after each other. Republicans are going after Republicans. Democrats are going after Democrats. But we're focused on your significant stimulus. We're focused on getting to the finish line. It feels like a celebrity death match of WWE, just with the same bad hairstyles and also the same bad clothing styles. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is 28 in a day in which there's really only 20 days until the election. And literally, if you didn't think everything crazy could be going on, it literally is. The Hot Mess Express is stopping, and it is picking up a lot of people, and they're getting on board. But we're here, you're here, and I really appreciate you for tuning in. And go to the front of this channel, subscribe. Subscribe because now we are absolutely on board to get to the finish line, and we're going to get to it together. Also, like this video. In this video, I'll be going over why neutralizing the Mitch factor is really the focus today, and apparently it's working. Then more about that Pelosi-Wolf interview, and additionally, focus on executive orders. All right, let me get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we start the new day in the middle of a great Wednesday is that there's renewed focus on getting your stimulus done by ignoring someone. And that someone now is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell has turned this battle into now a 5-6 person battle because now we have Mitch versus Donald. McConnell versus Trump was a hit show last night on this channel for a reason, because McConnell is now trying to undo all the momentum that is working in favor of the White House and Steve Mnuchin. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell, 24 hours after his debate for Kentucky Senate re-election seat, said that he's going to do a new stimulus package. This was after he was under fire for doing much of nothing. So in a bid to get himself re-elected, he's introducing a bill next week which is categorically counterintuitive, contrary, contradictory, not effective, and working against the White House. So what should we think about this? Well, yesterday we were pissed. We were certainly pissed. Why would Mitch introduce the same bill that was rejected, several weeks ago? Why would he introduce a bill without stimulus checks? Why would he introduce a bill that is going against the momentum of the White House? Well, the way you deal with Mitch is the only way you can ever deal with him, which is ignore him. So in the true focus of Purple Power, which is getting to the finish line by being powerful, informed, and motivated, our motivation is to ignore him and to ensure that other Republicans that see him writing something over the weekend, hoping he runs out of ink, hoping the printer gets jammed with the paper in it, the paper gets jammed with the printer, hoping that there's a power surge on the printer, it just doesn't work, you have to order a new one, and the printer won't be there for another week. You just have this hope that no one really focuses on Mitch. Needless to say, it's not much of a reach, because Mitch McConnell historically has been a hot mess express himself for getting anything done. Mitch McConnell introduced the HEALS Act, 2 months ago, written by him, not supported by the White House, not supported by Republicans. It died. I don't even think, it got, someone put it up for a vote the first hour. It's like, hi, can we vote on it? They're like, you want to do what? Who is this person? We don't know this person. Needless to say, the HEALS Act never went for a vote. It never went anywhere. It didn't even go to Taco Bell for taco night. It went nowhere. Several weeks later, Mitch introduced the skinny bill, which was fat on relief for big business, and skinny, well, not skinny, it was empty on anything for American people. And needless to say, that died a quick death. I mean, it didn't even, lasts longer than one of Nancy Pelosi's hairstyles. It just literally went nowhere, and it was the laughing stock of the legislative world. Now, Mitch McConnell has a robust history, granted, of doing rabbit tricks and incredible magic acts for for legislative relief. He's known as a senator who can absolutely pull a surprise bill into law out of nowhere. It's not going to happen this time. No. So this is a false narrative. Well, it's not false. It's a optics. It's a propaganda-ish pitch to make it look like he's doing something, to push back against Democrats who say the Senate haven't done much of anything, which they still have not, but that's his narrative. Okay, you can have a narrative. No one's going to dissuade to prevent you from having a narrative. Just don't take away from our ability to get relief. And so that's how the purple power works. And that's what's important as you're 20 days away from the election, is that there's someone doing something over there, and it may look horribly counterintuitive to everything that is working in our favor for Steve Mnuchin. But the way we deal with it is, okay, you want to do that for your own reelection? Go do that. We're going to do what's working on us. Now, what's incredibly great news overnight is that if you did not watch Morning LALATE at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wolf Blitzer took Nancy Pelosi to town. And if he wasn't done, I checked her on 8:30 a.m. in a rare broadcast in which I rarely do that type of taping, especially in a morning show that should generally be, lighthearted and relaxed. I just was tired of her lies. And I hope you watched that video, and I hope you shared that video. Nancy Pelosi literally was taken to task because she said stuff like, science is guiding our principles. Is science telling you to not accept $400 a week for FPUC and hold out for $600 a week for 10 weeks so that Americans don't have $4,000 in their pocket? Is science telling you to drop adult dependence checks from $1,200 to $500? Is science telling you not to accept multiple stimulus checks? Is science telling you not to accept $1,000 stimulus check for children and ask only $500 check for children? It's fake narratives like this that people certainly are not working well with. And the great news this morning is that there's incredible push and incredible support for Steve Mnuchin's bill. I told you over the weekend this was going to happen. And I told you the way it works is that Steve Mnuchin needed to put out his numbers. Clearly, he was watching this broadcast, he was seeing the tweets, and he understood he needed to put out his numbers. He put out his numbers. Then we saw really what $1.8 trillion is. Nancy Pelosi and Wolf said, you don't know what he's doing. Oh, we do know what he's doing. He put out his numbers. You didn't put out your numbers, but we do know your numbers because there's a bill. It's actually a public record. Mnuchin put out his numbers, and they're great. They're absolutely great. This is what's exciting as you start the new day. $1,200 checks for individuals. $1,200 checks for adult dependents. Finally. You know how many times I've been recording this and telling my viewers who are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits that you're going to get a full stimulus check for your second stimulus package. And to stay with me, you're going to get it. Finally, Steve Mnuchin came around. He finally came around. You didn't get his first stimulus check under the first stimulus package because you're an adult dependent on SSDI, SSI, veterans, or railroad benefits, and you appear as a dependent on someone else's tax return. Because CARES Act 1, the first stimulus package, wrote it that way. It was a mistake. It was the form of the language. It said, we're not giving a check to someone who's an adult and a dependent on someone else's tax return. I apologize. I wasn't the drafter of that bill, but I'm sorry that our elected officials did that to you. They should not have. So in the weeks in which I started to broadcast into stimulus, I said, you know what? You didn't get a stimulus check because you're on SSDI. I had viewers say, I didn't get a stimulus check because I was on SSDI. No. It was because they did the bill a wrong way. But you will get a stimulus check this time around, and it will be a full stimulus check. And guess what? Steve Mnuchin's giving you a full stimulus check, $1,200. Amen. Finally. Then children. Children. He's giving $1,000 to children dependents. This is incredibly great news because dependent children should have been at $1,200. People were throwing them down to $500, trying to get them down to zero. He's now at $1,000. This is incredibly great news. Also, he has never ruled out multiple stimulus checks. He's just not giving you multiple stimulus checks now. Now, the things that I would improve on stimulus checks are I would have everyone at $1,200, whether I can get to that or not, that's another question. I would call for a multiple stimulus check, a second stimulus check, because the problem solvers have a second stimulus check in March. Steve doesn't have that, but he has said he would give you another stimulus check in the next couple of weeks. Just do it now. Put it in the bill now. But otherwise, this is incredibly great news. Temple Doom, on the other hand, adult dependents, $500? Horrible. Children, $500? Horrible. Hazard pay. She got rid of it. She got rid of adult dependents at $1,200. She got rid of children dependents at $1,200. She keeps on cutting money out of everything that's supposed to go to you. Steve Mnuchin's raising it for you. This is a deal that should be done right now. $400 a week for FPUC, retroactive to September 14th. September 14th. 14th or 13th. It's somewhere around there. That's incredible, great offer. It was an offer that was given back in July. Had Nancy Pelosi accepted it then, you would have had $4,000 in your bank account. Why? Because it's been 10 weeks since the offer was made. 10 weeks at $400 a week. You would have had $4,000 plus $1,200 stimulus checks plus Red A. You would have had all this money. You would have had $5,000, $6,000 in your bank account. Instead, you have zero because of her. So he has offered $400 a week, retroactive to September. It's incredibly great news because he's taking it further into the future. He's taking FPUC further into January. This is incredibly great news because I don't want your enhanced unemployment benefits to expire over Christmas holidays or over New Year's. Thick of winter, December 31st, bam, your unemployment benefits expire? Enhanced unemployment benefits expire? No one wants that. So Steve Mnuchin put it into middle January. And that's just where it is now. Don't think it's not going to get re-extended further. It will get re-extended further if we get this done now. State and local, $300 billion. Incredible. That's Mnuchin's offer. Incredible. That's a year and a half of grant. That's more than they need. They don't need more than a year and a half of grant. Are you getting a year and a half of grant? No, of course not. So the great news as we start the new day is we're realizing that, there is that thing that Mitch is doing out there. It's just like, what are you doing? It's like that crazy cousin that the family wants to not acknowledge that they exist. It's like, yeah, your cousin just dyed his hair purple, but he's part of the purple power. Well, we really don't know what that is, but, that's the analogy. It's fans. So let me answer some incredible 1,700 comments from yesterday. I got to tell you, thank you for tuning in for Early Mornings LALATE. Blockbuster. If there's one thing I do very well is I listen. You are all telling me East Coast. I'm an East Coast viewer. I need something when I wake up in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning when I wake up. Can you please give me something? And Early Mornings LALATE is a blockbuster. I really do appreciate you for tuning in. 2 shows. The first one is at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second one is at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Let me answer some incredible questions from yesterday. Lorraine, why can't Americans get a stimulus every month? Amen. Derek, the American people have received only one check since April, haven't seen a dime since then. What a travesty. And remember, my adult dependents haven't received any stimulus check. Rocket, why is Nancy still in office? She needs to be fired. If you did not watch Mornings LA, I'm calling for her resignation as the negotiator for the second stimulus package. Rosie, March is too late. We need money now. What I detailed yesterday, I forgot to start on this videos as well, is that Nancy Pelosi's pitch is that you wait till Biden comes in office and you wait till new senators are sworn in January. Everyone starts working in January. The bill will be written in January. It'll be passed in February. The checks will go out in February and you'll receive them checks in April or March. She wants you to wait for stimulus relief in March that you're owed for April of the year before. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I just can't say it. It just baffles. I'm speechless. James, why is Nancy Speaker of the House? Why is she the negotiator? She shouldn't be the negotiator. Do one thing at a time. Let's get her out of the negotiations, then we'll do all the other stuff. Ingrid, some of us are already homeless. A lot of you are already homeless. Robin, we need the money now. Amen. Nancy doesn't care about her own people in her district. She never will do anything for the American people. Karen, Pelosi still speaks with the forked tongue of the politician she is. Arlene, she's not interested in giving to anything. She isn't. It's her way or the highway. She wants 100% or no deal. That's not negotiating. She actually said this morning on Wolf Blitzer that you're disrespecting the people who authored the bill. When the people authored the bill, they didn't expect the bill to be passed exactly as written. They expected it to be negotiated upon, and that ultimately people will come to a negotiating point. She thinks that exactly what she wants is exactly what she gets. That's not how it is in the real life. B. Victor, it's scary that this demented woman has this kind of power. Austin, Nancy's completely out of her mind. Cheryl, us Americans are hurting. Kelly, D. Collins is making a push to get her out. Good luck to him. Janet, all the talks about stimulus. What about seniors and Social Security? Steve Mnuchin will give you a full stimulus check, $1,200 if you're dependent, and if you're not a dependent, also $1,200. It's been 6 months with one check. Ridiculous. So the fact that you got a first check means that you were not a dependent, so you would get a second stimulus check, full stimulus check. Donnie, I don't think Nancy knows what she's talking about. She doesn't. Kay, she hasn't listened to them before, so she isn't comfortable. Annette, as long as Nancy's a speaker, we'll never get any help. No, as long as Nancy's a negotiator, you won't get any help. Leslie, what part does she not understand? James, other countries are appalled by the way our government is treating our people. Other countries are giving their people $2,000 a month. And understand that other countries have spent 35% of their gross national product, which is the value of their economy, on stimulus. We've spent 15%. And that report was months ago. They're now spending more money. We haven't spent any money in months. David Smith, Nancy Pelosi wants what she wants and not what the people wants. She's supposed to represent the people, not herself. Amen. Thank you for tuning in from Early Mornings LALATE. Thank you for tuning in from Mornings LALATE. And thank you for tuning in for this broadcast, which wraps Mornings LALATE and Early Mornings. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE at 3:30 with Check, then a continuation of Check, then McConnell versus Trump, and then Pelosi versus Mnuchin, and then Evenings LALATE. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're now at 291. Let's go to 300,000. Also, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LALATE for more.